Daylight come and me want go home. Daylight come and me want go home.
Pitter patter, love has gone so.
And me want go home.
And one of those lessons is that he essentially has turned over a new leaf, right? Like, I know you lost everything financially. I'm currently funding Batman Incorporated, let me fund you. Like, in effect, he's giving Batman a job offer. Right, he's like, side against Abyss and Batman Incorporated. You of course end up finding out that this police officer working on work
300 for that and 2,000 for this. Way too
expensive. You can run it however you want to, but I'll be the financer,
expensive.
right?
But
I'll be
today
the one to financially back you. Of course, it also pisses him off.
Hello, everybody.
Hello?
Hello?
Are we playing Among Us?
Huh?
I don't know how to play.
You don't know how to play Among Us?
Yeah, I've never played before.
What
Is
the
that
hell?
gonna make it hard? Am I gonna
Listen, you're already sus, because I don't believe you.
Hey guys, how's it going?
be? Hey, Seer.
Yeah, what's up, motherfuckers?
Dead?
Shut up, pussy.
Fathers, no, please.
What's up, guys? You ready to play some Among Us?
Ready and willing.
I've not played this game since 2020, so I forgot how to play as well.
Did you see the new Kirby?
Yeah, it looks so awesome.
Yeah, dude,
It looks
that's
really good.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck you, Rich.
The fuck?
This fucking shit.
Whoa, does it bleep curse words?
That pussy.
Oh, that's the in-game sounds.
I'm a fuck you.
Okay, nobody cheat. Don't look at your chat. Don't look at your chat.
How do you move? Like when I'm clicking,
You're literally
nothing happens.
WASD, and
Okay,
space is the.
And what does it mean when it says imposter? How do I?
Ten just killed.
How do we know
Listen, we were all in the corner. I saw Rich do it.
on every imposter? Fuck!
By the way, you guys asked me if I was imposter last time, and I was honest. I said I was.
I never get imposter. Emmy.
Dude, I'm a much better
Emmy,
Huh?
Emmy.
What?
Emmy, follow me.
Why?
The whole, you and me, why are you asking? Just follow me the whole game. Just you and me?
I
Come
will
on.
watch. I will watch after
I have one here.
Weird, I don't. Weird.
you.
Wait, what's weird?
What was your task? Explain it, everything. What was on your screen?
It's the water bottle filling one where one's upside down.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's keep going. Follow me, Emmy. Over here. I don't trust two team, by the way. I literally do
Wait,
not trust
I don't.
Nope, I don't trust her.
She doesn't. She thinks you're trying to kill me or something.
I'm not trusting.
Wait, where are your tasks then?
Right here. Follow me. Right here.
Blue, yellow, prank.
Thing is too dark. That he has in effect lost his sight as a result of the action. So he's ultimately never going to be able to get to them. The only way to access them is when they're being transferred. And that's exactly what happened to the roof, right? They basically take off. Once they arrive up on the rooftop, of course, him being Abyss is to basically come with me, right? Like, you have to work for me. I can provide you the tools, the assets, the things that
Discord.
that you need. It's very, very cryptic and it's very weird because what it looks like is Lex Luthor has essentially set all this up. And the response of Batman is like, what games are you playing, right? What did you do? How are you involved in this? But ultimately, the members of Batman Incorporated chime in and say, like, you don't understand it, Batman. Like, you don't get what's going on. Lex Luthor may very well have funded our whole Batman Incorporated situation here following you losing all your money, but Abyss is our leader. And that's where Abyss says, join us in the dark, Batman, and help us kill Lex Luthor, right? Help us turn against this guy and destroy him. That's their mission. That's their secret mission, is to kill Lex Luthor. And the crazy thing about this is that as the fight breaks out and is initially Batman begins to join Lex Luthor, the two of them fighting side by side against Abyss and Batman Incorporated. You of course end up finding out that this police officer working alongside with Batman is called in backup and it's like the cops are coming and all that kind of stuff. And ultimately Abyss is like, excellent, right? Like, if you provided an audience, we can provide the show. And he's like, Batman Incorporated, prove your loyalty, kill Lex Luthor. And so the fight breaks out and it's pretty intense, right? This is a pretty extreme fight. And it's just one of those things where literally Lex Luthor points out that Batman's blind, and everybody's like, wait a minute, what? Like, Batman's blind right now? Like, what? Hold on. Like, what in the hell? Like, Lex Luthor says, okay, like, I prepared myself for this fight. Batman says, one of the members of Batman Incorporated says, like, look, I'm sorry that it came down to this, Batman. And the response of Bruce is, don't be. And he says, Batman Incorporated, code Club of Heroes. And essentially, depending on how you feel about it, it was all an undercover operation. I feel like Joshua Williamson wrote himself into a corner here. That what's basically going on, or what basically seemed to have been going on, is that Batman Incorporated have been working with Batman the entire time. That the reality is that they were all kind of working together to basically bring out Abyss, to trick Abyss into believing that he had the upper hand, only to find out that he didn't. And ultimately, the thing about Abyss is he's able to take them all out, essentially single-handedly. The other thing that goes on here is that Abyss says, we all want to be Batman, right? No longer a victim. Then Lex Luthor came to me with an offer, Bruce Wayne, the tools to become a new kind of Batman, and the training. But I was just the start of Lex's experiment. He thought he could find cities full of crime and create his own Batman, one that was loyal to him. But then he abandoned me, left me to show this city how scary it can be in the dark. Lex knew his little experiment got away from him and sent a whole team of Batmen to stop me. That in essence, Lex Luthor was the one that caused all of this. That the way this timeline seems to have played out is that with the absence of Batman being able to fund Batman Incorporated and knowing that the loyalties of Batman Incorporated were not to the highest bidder, that what Lex Luthor saw was an opportunity to basically use experimentation, right? Probably gene modification or something like that, to basically create a new kind of Batman and then use this guy Abyss as what's basically a test subject. For reasons that aren't necessarily explained here, Lex Luthor abandoned the whole idea of Abyss. Now, it may be one of these things where this is all what happened in the early days of Batman Incorporated, and that it doesn't really seem to have been involved in anything recent. That Lex Luthor abandoning what was going on with Abyss and abandoning creating his own Batman in different cities, kind of his own version, quote unquote, of Batman Incorporated, that was all abandoned because of the fact that he basically turned over a new leaf. And that what Abyss is experiencing here is basically rejection, right? Like, he's angry because he felt rejected by Lex Luthor. Whatever the case happens to be, that ultimately Lex essentially created this whole thing, and that the operation was to basically find Abyss, bring him out, and then ultimately capture him. Now, one of the things here is that the nature of quote-unquote this undercover operation that while Batman is the one pulling the strings, it didn't necessarily seem to be something that they had worked out ahead of time. What was going on here is that Batman Incorporated was basically being loyal to Batman himself, right? And we'll kind of talk about why here in a second, that they displayed this loyalty in a way that Batman would understand. But ultimately, Batman basically ends up grabbing the suit of Lex Luthor because that seems to be the thing that protected him and kept him from going blind, indicating that the ability of Abyss to make Batman go blind is technologically based. So ultimately, using the technology in Luthor's suit, Batman undoes his own blindness and then in turn tracks down Abyss and literally just pummels him, right? Like using a combination of his own technology to basically create what is in effect a kind of white room, a place where Abyss can't hide in the shadows, there's nowhere for him to go. That is about as fair of a fight as it can possibly be. And Batman overcomes him swiftly, right? Exceedingly fast. Like it's just one of those things where Abyss never really had a chance in the first place. But ultimately, when Batman overcomes him, he essentially tells Abyss that he had lost sight of Batman Incorporated, right? That Lex Luthor had essentially preyed on that. And he says, I didn't make you, but I can still help you. And Abyss says, I only wanted to be like you, Batman. Instead, I'm always in the dark. And he says, forever. And he ultimately ends up throwing down a kind of bomb that just shrouds the entire area in darkness and then ultimately makes his escape. And Batman, with no choice, ultimately ends up leaving and going back to visit with the rest of Batman Incorporated. Now, this is where we kind of get what was going on. Is the sense that Batman Incorporated was always loyal to Batman. There was never really an instance when they had actually sided with Lex Luthor. If anything, them siding with Lex Luthor was them kind of conducting their own investigation to a degree to find out how Lex Luthor and Abyss were basically connected. And that once they were caught, they ultimately knew Batman would catch up with them and Batman would continue the investigation where they had essentially left off. And so when ultimately they're like, I mean, like, how did you know that we were basically working with you, right? When they kind of, when they ultimately abandoned Lex and Lex is back to doing his own thing and doesn't really have his own Batman Incorporated, when they're like, how did you know that we were on your side? Batman says, because when we were in the prison, you guys are all amazing fighters. It's one of the reasons why I have you here is Batman Incorporated. And when you guys attacked me, it was obvious you were holding back. You were pulling your punches because you knew that Abyss was watching you. Like you knew that's what was going on. They were using just essentially fighting styles and body language to communicate with Batman that, hey man, we're on your side here. You just need to be aware of the fact that we're doing this to essentially put on a show. Now, this is a very, very important thing because what it speaks to is one, how well Batman and the other members of Batman Incorporated know each other, but two, the training that went into them operating as a team that knows how to communicate with Batman. Because it's not one of those things where like if they knew Abyss was watching, they could like punch him, they could kick him and then whisper stuff in his ear while they're doing it, like Abyss is watching, you know, and then like that kind of a thing. They couldn't necessarily do that. It had to look real, right? Because Abyss is very, very capable and he would have picked up on that almost instantaneously. Like he would have realized, okay, they're alerting Batman to what's going on in terms of all this stuff. And so ultimately, when Bruce asked them like, why didn't you call me for help? Right? Why didn't you hit me up and let me know what was going on? Their response is, would you have done the same thing? Right? Communication is a two-way street, Home Slice. Would you have talked to us? Right? Is that something that you would have done? And where he's just kind of like, I probably wouldn't have. And he's like, good job, guys. I'll be in touch, right? I'm needed elsewhere. You guys continue on, do your thing. Great job. Awesome. Okay, cool. Peace. And then like basically bails. Basically takes off. Now we do get a couple epilogues here. One of them is that he contacts Ghostmaker, if you guys recall him, and says like, I need you to keep an eye on something for me, but we don't necessarily find find out exactly what's going on, right? There is the Batman annual for 2022, but that doesn't go on sale until the end of May, so we won't know exactly what's going on until then. You do end up having this cop that it basically investigates LexCorp and then kind of asks the question what Lex Luthor was really up to. The big takeaway from all this is that Prometheus is basically speaking to an unnamed person and saying, our people have confirmed that Batman has returned to Gotham City. And this unnamed person says, make sure my secret society monitors his movements, right? This secret society of supervillains. Now, Prometheus himself is basically a guy with the helmet he wears. It allows him to essentially analyze and then understand the movements of people he's fighting against. So think of him like a technological version of Taskmaster for those of you guys who are coming from Marvel Comics. But the person he's speaking to is basically King Deathstroke. That Deathstroke has reformed the secret society of supervillains and that he intends to launch a shadow war against Batman, which really excited to see what that looks like. But with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this to an end. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all later. Peace.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct, but it's wordy and hard to read. It undermines the writer's message, and the word choice is bland. Grammarly's cutting-edge technology helps you craft compelling, understandable writing that makes an impact on
Hey, what's up you guys? Sharpness Prime here, doing another McFarlane Toys action figure review on two figures. We're looking at the DC Multiverse, the Batman movies, Unmasked Batman and Unmasked Selina Kyle, or Catwoman. To pick up your McFarlane Toys figures, you can do so.
Big! Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
While you're down there, I ask you to please hit that like button, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell, and a big thanks to McFarlane Toys for sending out these samples to review for you guys. If you want to see the list from McFarlane Toys, be sure to check the link in the description below. You can see that we get some nice images on the back of the packaging over here. Nice looking product shots. I really do like that lighting. And then on the top, you get the spot varnish logos and then UPCs at the bottom. All right, let's crack these things open, or slice them open anyway. You have 3 pieces of tape at the top over here, and then 1 piece of tape at the bottom. So, I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like I'm opening these the wrong way. But here's the Bruce Wayne figure, and it looks pretty sweet already. Doesn't look too bad. Slice and slice. I always like to kind of curve the cape inward as I try to take it out right there so I don't damage the edges of the capes. So that doesn't look too bad already. Alright, and then we have the Selina Kyle. Slice, vengeance. Okay, let's go ahead and open this one. And you can see, yeah, we have the unmasked Selina Kyle right there. Alright, we will talk about that new head sculpt in a moment. But first, let's get these figures on the rotating base. So looking at these figures on the rotating base, they still look really cool. You know, they just have different heads, slightly different accessories, which we'll take a closer look at, and then we'll take a closer look at the figures. So I'm not surprised to see the DC Multiverse stands. We've seen these a million times before. We also get the trading cards, same images that we saw on the back of the packaging.